Penn State tight end Tyler Warren has the potential to be a multifaceted threat in an NFL offense. And when you look at the stats from 2024, a 1,230-yard, 8-touchdown season as a receiver, those are numbers you just really don't often see from a collegiate tight end. 2.78 yards per route run, right? Caught 13 of 21 contested passes, had 67 first downs as a receiver, and then also completed 3 of 6 passes for 35 yards and a touchdown, carried the ball 25 times, and scored 4 times. He has that ability to be sort of that chess piece around your offense. And in his career, pretty strong numbers as well as a receiver. Now, the blocking grades per PFF weren't the best, but I think you see that, yeah, while they're not great, I think there are things to build upon as a blocker. And we're going to get into that and more when we dive into the film room here to take a look at Tyler Warren. All right, so here we go into the film room for Tyler Warren. I want to start with what he does as a blocker because I really think there's some promising stuff here. Work low to high, that's the type of technique you want to see from an inline tight end. And I think that, just unlocking that, the power in the lower half and in the core, right, to sustain blocks at the point of attack, that is something that Warren is going to have to do at the next level if he wants to sort of be that multifaceted threat. And that was a really good start there. Again, these down blocks, right, with pulling guards, I think he really excels here. Just, again, whether it's sustaining them or just creating that collision to just take players out of the play, right, to help spring those outside runs. I think he's really good at that. And here, doing a great job of hooking this defender and turning him back inside to allow the QB to have a massive lane to run through. And same work here, right? Get in good position, on this defensive player and turn him back inside, drop anchor really well there to give that running back a massive hold to work with. And you see a nice one here as well against Washington, low to high, right? Drive the defender off his spot. Really, really nice rep there. And here again, just anything you can possibly do to get in the way of this defender. And he does a perfect job of doing everything he possibly can to take that defender out of the play. Some second level work here, really nice sustainment on this block against SMU. You let him do some of these insert blocks and he's just going to crush guys at the second level. And I think that's something where teams can get creative with Warren, right? Work to the A gap, work to the B gap, and take some of these linebackers just completely out of the play and let him destroy guys at the second level. I think is really promising stuff. Really nice combo block here to help his tackle out, and then springs out to get the defensive back as well and create a big lane for his running back. Use some momentum against guys, right? Just turn that into a pancake block, and then really love what he does here against Minnesota. You're going to see him take this guy and this guy almost out of the play, just collapsing that front to allow the running back to have a lane to work with, and create a nice little run there. And here, you just love this tenacity and the willingness to just play through the whistle, right? Drive him out of the end zone. Really love that. So how about as a receiver, right? I think there's some really good work from him on in and out breaking routes. We'll start here, just threaten a little bit of leverage there, move the defender, press vertical, and then win across the middle. I think he does a tremendous job at that. He's not the most dynamic, right? He's not going to be as quick and explosive as a Brock Bowers, but he does a great job, right? That stack, that ability just to work through contact, stack, and basically put the defender on the defensive and create some separation on that inbreaker. And obviously a great throw on top of it. But he can do that, right? Use that size, be physical at the top of routes to create separation as well on an inbreaker. Really, really nice job from him. Put it all together, right? Lean in, use your head and shoulders to manipulate the defender, give him something to think about, and then snap the route off. I think a really, really good job from him there. And now this is as textbook as it gets on this out route against Purdue, right? Stem inside, see the jab step. What does that do? Defender has to hop inside just a little bit to try to cut him off. And then an easy win on the outbreaker. So smooth, right? Work through contact here again. Create separation at the top. Do whatever you can. And especially tight ends, right? Use that size to your advantage, right? If they're going to initiate contact, be ready for it. As Warren was there against Maryland. And another good job here as well, right? Lean into the defender, use some contact at the top, easy separation on the outbreaker. And then when you kind of put it all together, right, you get this. quick stem, right, to the outside, get the defender to move. Now he's on the defensive. He's going to try to initiate some contact to disrupt your route, chop that away, and an easy touchdown grab for him. And here I think is kind of an underrated rep that may go more unnoticed. I'm going to run it through, and I think you're going to see what happens. He's running this in route against zone coverage. And if you notice what happened there, awesome, right? If you didn't, we'll run it. So as he breaks, he has a lot of space to work with. And you'll see him sort of slow up these strides, right? And what that does is it's giving Aller more time to get to him in the read and the concept, and don't run himself into coverage, right, where there's no window to throw that. So that's really, really high-level stuff. Really impressed with Warren there. Of course, catch point, in-air athleticism, right? Getting contacted already as he leaps for this, and yet still comes down with the ball. Great concentration, great coordination. All of that is really impressive. Now, he gets a little bit of a struggle there through contact early in the stem, but again, the high point ability, right? It's so good from him at the catch point. Here, really great extension through contact, right? Catch it away from your frame. Really like to see that. Here on a quick slant, you'll see him get contacted right before the ball arrives. So ball gets loose a little bit, but great concentration to hang on to a throw like that through contact. Really, really good. He doesn't leap for this against Ohio State too much, but late hands, strong hands, catch through contact. Really, really impressive. Here, this is a great throw from Aller, but again, great catch point timing, elevate at the right point. So you're the one that's going to make the play. The catch point, so good. And make an adjustment, right? Go low for a throw. Really impressed there. And then great job of winning this slot fade, by the way. Works through contact to get to stack the defender, but adjusts so well to the back shoulder and is able to get feet in bounds. Great coordination, great sideline awareness on top of it, right? And so you can also give him some work after the catch, right? Give him some of these stuff in the quick game, right? This is obviously a middle screen, and let him break some tackles, which he can do really well. Let him drop the pads and be sort of a bruising running back. Really like that from him. And then the quicks, right? Some of those short area quicks and flexibility that he has to make defenders miss in space is really impressive. Slows up his pace and then accelerates after he makes the defender miss. And now, of course, the gadget stuff, right? You know, the wildcat that Penn State used with him, I think can be invaluable as well for an offense that really wants to get creative as well, right? Give him some goal line looks because he just has that fearlessness, approach to leaping over the pile, no problem, right? He's big and physical. He can handle it. Then how about this, right? I told you at the top, he completed 3 passes. There's one of them, right? Just can get insanely creative if you want to, right? And here, as a runner, good vision, right? Sees he's got help to the outside, works around the corner nicely, and also baits this defender as well, right? Sets him back up to freeze him like he's going to work back inside, when in reality he is setting himself up to have a crease down, the sideline there. Really impressive. And then, right, show him the taillights, little bit of burst and linear speed to run away from some guys in space, and a really impressive touchdown there. Now, as a blocker, I think there are improvements that need to be made. At the point of attack, he sometimes, when he builds up momentum, that's where he can get into trouble a little bit, right? And you see him lose the battle kind of in terms of not, sustaining and getting a good initial strike in there, and that's where defenders are going to be able to beat him right now, right? He can play a little out of control because he's trying to work against these defensive ends, and when you get off balance, that's where the trouble occurs for you. And so he can do it, and there's obviously so much evidence of him being able to, but again, he's kind of wrapping around, right, rather than getting that good initial strike in, and that's where you're going to lose a lot of those battles, at the point of attack. And I do think there are times at the top of his route break where he's a little bit slow and working through contact that, again, he's just not the most dynamic. He's not the Bowers. He's not the Loveland necessarily. So he's going to have to continue to use that size and frame to his advantage. Now, a great job peeking inside here to try to move this defender, which it does. But again, when you're not super sudden and you can't stay tight to the line and you drift like 4 or 5 yards downfield, that's where it's tough, and you're going to invite guys back into the play. And again, here, obviously, working on the outside, right? He had some reps where he was working out wide like this. And again, just a tough where you got to be ready to combat, stuff, contact in the stem like that, and maybe just not ready for it there. So Tyler Warren, there's so much promise, right? And obviously, the blocking stuff needs work. You probably look more 50-50 on film in terms of like, oh yeah, he's losing here at the point of attack. He needs to work on, strong hands, good positioning, good balance, all of that. But you've seen where you can get him started and where he can, continue to improve and develop as a blocker. He's obviously got, some really, really good stuff in there as a receiver as well. But again, that gadget usage to be, kind of an offensive weapon, more so just like I'm a tight end. But again, I think there's inline tight end potential, but you've seen the multitude of ways you can deploy Tyler Warren at the next level, which is really, really exciting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one on Tyler Warren. If you did, throw a like down there. Subscribe if you're new. Plenty more draft content on the way very, very soon. I will catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.